Hey, friends. Welcome to the Men of Monroe. Let me switch over to the chat here so I can see who's here. Hello to Miss Sandy and Miss Isis. Mr. Brandon, hello. Hello, Jim. Welcome. Hey, Karen. Yeah, that song really kind of gets me moving a bit. um, hey, Kara, welcome. So Sean is tied up with work again tonight. I think he's going to be tied up through the end of the month, so I suspect he should be back next week, but fingers crossed. He's been dealing with a really big project that is taking up a lot of his time, 12-hour days, and so he's getting a break from this, but hopefully he'll be back next week. Hello, Kate. Welcome, my friend. So you're stuck with me. I'll be flying solo again tonight. I titled this live, I Want to Take You to Birdtown, because we are, again, focusing on a stamp set that has to do with the birds. And I thought it was kind of fun, that title. It kind of reminded me, in my mind, I kept hearing that song, Funky Town. I want to take you to Birdtown. So that's where that came from. Hey, Anne, welcome, friend. So without further ado, I am going to switch down to my down camera, and I will go over with you what I will be using tonight. So tonight's focus is the stamp set from the inspiration box for the month, and it is called Home Tweet Home. Tweet Jim, that's right. Yes, Isis, I agree. Hey, Danielle, welcome. When I saw this stamp and I thought of, to me, it looked like a funky little town, and that's again where it came from. Want to take you to Birdtown. So, that's how my mind works. So I am using the larger stamp from this set, which I think is really cool. And I'll be using one of the sentiments, and I've already stamped it out. I'm going to be using a cozy place to begin, because this set is really focused on a new home and new beginnings. So that's really fun. I'm going to be using with it a paper collection from last month, the Framed Florals, because I have I think a really fun idea. I'm going to have a top panel, and I want the top panel to intentionally be kind of, subdued. And this is pretty subdued, but it has the blues that I'm looking for in it. And the panel underneath, Isis, is Penny here to offer some music? I have not seen Penny here yet. This time of the year, she starts to get busy with her grandchildren's baseball games and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if Penny will be making it tonight. So you really are kind of just stuck with me tonight. And then underneath, I'm going to have this really cool paper that has lots of blues and some reds. And the idea is I'm going to cut it down to a panel size, but I'm going to use some, hey, Jay, welcome. You finish your dinner. That's more important than this, that's for sure. But what I'm going to do is use some stacking rectangle dies, some smaller ones, and I'm just going to cut some random patterns, some up high, some down low, perhaps even some kind of coming across a bit, so that when you are looking at the card itself, you're going to see this paper, the pattern, kind of coming up from underneath the top layer. Isis asked, what's the color of the cardstock? So this particular one it's like a black background or a very, very dark navy. I'm having a hard time with it, but I think it's black. with then dark blue and some light blue in the flowers, some lighter shades of red and some darker red. So, hey, Jamie, welcome. Jay says Walter is like the smart kid who showed up early to work on the project while the rest of the team played hooky. Jay, you caught me. I always say that I am a proud nerd. I was always prepared and ready for school. From the early grades right up through college. So yeah, that you've summed me up to a T. Hey, Cordelia. What about the solid cardstock? Oh, so this isn't really solid. Let me bring it up. It's actually a pattern. It's a very light blue with a little bit of darker blue flowers in the kind of dotted all around it. And that's going to lay on top. And then for like solid cardstock, I stamped the stamp in advance so that it had time to dry, and I did that on a white perfect blend card panel, and then I have a white pre-scored card base. So that is all the color for like the paper, but I am going to also color this in. I'm glad you're here. Oh, thanks, Jay. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I am going to color the image in, and something I did to make it easier. I don't have the digital cut file for this. Yes, Isis. So the white is also known as alabaster, although I think technically this is the actual perfect blend. So I think the alabaster may be just a shade off from the perfect blend, but essentially, yes. Yep. It is a really cute stamp. I agree, Jay. So I'm going to color the houses and the birds a little, since I don't have the cut file, and since I'm going to fussy cut this. An easy way when you're going to fussy cut, as you can see, I kind of have a little like trace line and pencil going around it. I put the stamp on top of the stamped image after I had stamped it, and I used a pencil to trace it. So then that way, you know, you're going to get a really nice cut. And this is essentially the same cut that you would have with the digital cut file. So just a little tip there for you. So that is kind of the plan for tonight. And so I'm going to get started with cutting down my cardstock and then getting those rectangles cut out to kind of create that frame that's going to be over that. So, but first things first, I did not cut my cardstock, my printed cardstock down early. So let's get that done. And I just want it at an A2 size. So since this is going to be landscape, am I doing landscape? Yeah, I think I want to do this landscape. So 4.5 that way. And let me open up my sidearm to get the 5.5 going this way. There we go. Okay. And then what's nice is I had mentioned I already have the sentiment stamped onto white, and I'm going to use one of these leftover pieces, probably this one, to just create a little border for it. So I'm going to keep that to the side. I may even use some dimensional tape to go ahead and just add a little dimension onto it too. That'd be fun. So this panel is now all set. That's all I have to do with that until I'm ready to get the two of them together. But now we're going to do some die cutting. So I'm going to do my arranging on my bottom plate and probably use some double-sided low-tack tape to go ahead and keep them in place once I'm happy with how they are aligned. Actually, that one I think I want down a bit. That one I want up a bit. And I thought it would be fun to do one like so. And it's funny, since I had my dies resting on my my glass mat, and since it's magnetized, it kind of magnetized my dies, so they're tending to move around a bit, which is why it'll be important to use some double-sided. See, that one keeps moving on me. It's attracted. It's attracted. Let's get them into place. So I hope everyone is having a good week. I have to admit, my week has been pretty decent overall. I'm not going to complain. You wouldn't want to hear that anyway. I want to do this one kind of coming over here a bit, but, you know, just kind of doing like a funky little cutout pattern. Just kind of fun. Something a little different. I had also thought about using strips of the patterned paper instead, but I kind of like this idea of cutting these shapes out and having it show through behind, just because it kind of gives you a chance to mix up the two styles, which is fun. Get those pieces out of there. Then we can continue with cutting some more on the other side. So I'm going to put my tape there for a second. I was speaking with Sean earlier in the week, though. We were texting, and he's definitely going to be glad when this project is over. I'm sorry to hear that you're suffering from jet lag, Isis, but very cool to hear that you're out here on the East Coast. Nice. Nice. As long as you don't mind the traveling, that's a good thing. I've never been a huge business traveler. In the past and previous jobs I've had to. Luckily, my current one, I do not. And I say luckily because I business travel just, it tires you out, and you don't really have any time for yourself. And yeah. Am I just whining? I might just be whining. But I am kind of glad that I don't have to do that. Let's see. I'm going to put that one down like that. Oh, no, it's going to shift on me again, but I'll fix it. And then we'll do one like that. So let me grab my little pieces of tape here to get our rectangles in place. And, I try to get them aligned as quote unquote perfectly as I can, but they shift, they move. As long as they look somewhat good, I'm happy. Because I definitely at times put too much pressure on myself about like, oh, that's not perfect. Maybe I should do it over again. And you know what? This is card making, not rocket science. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's get that cut out now. There we go. I'm just gonna. And the cool thing is you can also save these little rectangles to use at another date, another project. Oh, you're back on the West Coast. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad it was a good trip for you. Thank you. Yeah. Excuse me. My allergies have started up. Pollen is starting to get out there, which means I start to suffer. And today the pollen was at a moderate count here in the eastern part of Massachusetts. So I'm on to all of my allergy meds and unfortunately dealing with a tad bit of congestion. So bear with me, please. Yeah, I agree, Jay. I really don't like boarding my dogs, which is why I'm fortunate that my niece and her boyfriend, if I'm going away um, for a personal trip, will come down and stay with them for me, which I really really appreciate. And yeah, because both of my dogs are rescues, and I just end up worrying that if I were to bring them to board them, that they, you know, if they have any kind of, PTSD from when they were down south in, they were both in kill shelters, unfortunately, and the um, the organization I adopted them through found them, found a temporary foster home for them down south until they were adopted, which was by me. And then they were shipped up here to Massachusetts. And the nice thing is they also drive them up in a van, so it's not as stressful on them as like flying would be. So, but I digress. Here is that what that looks like now, and I just think it's fun. It's just another cool way to use patterned paper. And you can go ahead and like shift around and decide where you think you get the best bang for your buck with the real estate that you cut out. I actually think that looks pretty good because I get lots of flowers. Now, keeping in mind that some of it will be covered when I put that down, but not completely. So I am happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and use some craft glue to get these. Ooh, do I want to do craft glue, or actually, I think I may do double-sided foam tape instead and add some nice dimension there so it's not so flat. So it's not flat. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab my foam tape strips and just start getting some pieces on here. I definitely am somebody that uses a lot of double-sided foam tape. I just love being able to add dimension, and I think it's an easy way to really help enhance your designs and help your cards stand out. Just my opinion, but I'm a fan of it. And I'm not going to have like, a piece going up and down everywhere. I do like to make sure that my top and bottom is pretty well covered, which is why I have that up there. And I'm going to put a whole strip going across the bottom. But then in between, really just a little bit will help you get that stuck into place. That's awesome, Isis. I love being able to have my niece do that. It just gives me such peace of mind. So, like next month, actually, just a little over a month from now, I'm going to be traveling to Ohio for Create. Simon Says Stamp Create. And my niece and her boyfriend, or actually now it's her fiance. I keep saying boyfriend, but they're engaged, so it's her fiance. Will be coming to stay, which is awesome. And similar to you, I make sure that I she doesn't ever want to accept anything, but I do like, give them money for eating out and things like that. Um, since they're doing the favor for me. Okay, and now that that's on, peel this backing off. The other nice thing is I also have some very good friends who live in the area, not where I live, but close by. And if push came to shove, I know that one or two of them would help me out in a bind and take care of the dogs as well. So we try to help each other out like that. They are more like family than my friends. I call them my chosen family. I have my wonderful biological family, and I have my awesome chosen family in the area. Only bad thing about the foam tape, especially these strips, is that the backing can be a little tough to get off sometimes. But just a little patience. Oh, that's nice, Kate. Wonderful that you do that. That's awesome. I'm sure it's appreciated. Come on. Now, I could be using my tweezers to help with getting this backing off, but what fun would it be without the struggle, The victory is all the sweeter with a little struggle. So now I'm just going to line these up, and I like to do it this way by standing it up and eyeballing it, because then I can make sure that it's... Yeah, that's awesome, Kate. Very, very cool. Okay, so I can get this onto my card base now. And I just put on some new double-sided tape. So, of course, it's going to... There we go. It seems like the first time I roll it, it has to like settle into place and gives me an issue, but then it starts to flow. So now I'm just going to make sure that all of that double-sided adhesive is on the other side by just lightly going around the edge and pressing it into place. And we'll get it onto our card base. And the good thing is those were good cuts that I made, because everything is lined up and there's no white showing through. I'm always happy when that happens. So, all right, there is our card base. I'm now going to move on to coloring. And for coloring these, I want something that's, these are really small. And so because of that, I want to make sure that I'm not using anything with too broad of a nib. So I'm going to use some Statler pigment brush pens, because they do a really nice job when you have, because as you can see, it's a really nice small tip. So I'm just going to start to color. And these pens are highly pigmented. You can actually watercolor with these pins by putting some of it down and then, with your wet brush moving it around. I've actually done some really cool projects like that. So that's fun. And of course, if you focus on an area, you're going to get some darker spots, which is why I'm going to, from the sides, kind of pull up a bit and just get a little bit of darker shade around, and then put some just little spots around there. I think we can do this one the same way. They kind of look like straw to me, so that's why I figured I'd go with that color. I'm now going to do my nests, and for the nests, I want not too dark of a brown, because since it's stamped in black, I'm going to do burnt sienna there. Let's see how that. Yeah, so then that way you can see some of that coming through. That's cool. Of course, the nice thing about the nest is you don't have to be so careful coloring. You can just go right across, and so it's nice and quick. And there's another nest over here. And what's nice too is that with these fine tips, it's easy to add in some additional detail of like little wisps and going up over the areas that are stamped in black that kind of wisp out, because you don't have to worry about getting a huge amount of a swatch as you would with a wider tipped marker. Let's see, there's some grass up here that I want to, or some nest up there. That's stamped in black, but let's just give an indication of some brown. All right, I think I got the nests. Now I see some leaves sticking out. Oh, thanks, Kate. Yeah. I'll put it over to the side. I just, it's something different. And I think it's kind of cool. I'm glad you do too. Thank you. Let's see. I know there are some. Here they are. Knew I saw some more leaves somewhere. Where else? I think that's all the leaves. Well, I'll leave it out in case I see something else. Let's see. Next, we will go on to. I want a nice kind of off-white and ivory. I'm going to do some of the eggs in the nest, kind of this ivory color. There's that one. I'm going to do that up there that way. Oh, my pins are about to fall. And we'll do one of those. And then we'll take a nice light blue. This is almost like a mint, it says. Is that the shade I want? Well, it's the closest I'm going to get to a robin's egg, I think. So let's give that a try. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Oh, and I see a leaf that I missed. I knew that would happen. go. Let's get this leaf over here. And let's see. Our little birds. I'm going to do some orange, yellow. What else? Orange, yellow. Suppose I should do some kind of a brown, since there are brown birds. Let's do light sand. Okay, so let's get some birds colored in. And you can color your birds however you'd like. Seeing as though this is Birdtown, aka Funky Town, we could do all different colors of birds. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. You know what? I'm going to. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the birds in rainbow colors. Why not? That's pretty funky. Leave the red in case I want it. Let's see. I want a green. Let's go with a brighter green. There's that one. And let's get a blue. There's that. And let's do this one as a blue. And now we'll do a purple. But I definitely want more of a, I don't know how many, there we go. Yes, like a lavender, a lighter purple. Didn't want it too dark. There we go. Oh, and there's a bird hiding there. Let's do that one in a lighter blue. There we go. I think that's it for the birds. Oh, and I missed an egg. Let's do that egg. Oh, geez. And I see another leaf that I missed. There's so many images here. I'm sure I am going to find something. I see a little bird peeking out of that birdhouse. Let's get him yellow. And let's do this guy yellow. I missed him. And it looks like he has eggs there as well. So let's do, we'll do both of those eggs the same color. There we go. While I have the red out, I'm going to color in the red hearts that are floating in the air. I think that's all for the hearts. And the butterflies. Let's do some butterflies in pink. There's one. Let's see, is there another butterfly? I'll keep it out in case I missed it. And we have some flowers there. Let's do those flowers in a lighter pink. And then we'll do yellow in the center. There's that one. This is such a happy little picture. I really, really like this one. I don't know. I can't help but smile when I look at it. Okay. Oh, there's a flower there. Let's see. All right. I think that's good. While I see it, let's do the centers with the yellow. Okay. I think that's it. Let's see. Let's do a nice bright orange sun. And I'm going to fill in a couple more leaves that I see I missed. So again, I know I sound like Bob Ross when I say this, but make it your own happy little world, your own little funky town. Nice and fun. Well, hey there, welcome. Nice to see you, my friend. Sean. Hey, bud. Nice to see you. We miss you. Your adoring fans miss you, so I'm sure they will be happy to see you pop in. We are visiting Birdtown tonight, and I let them know earlier that my inspiration for the title of "I Want to Take You to Birdtown" was based off of the disco classic Funky Town. And I was kind of singing it in my head of, I want to take you to Birdtown. Kind of fun, you know. Not that anyone wants to hear me sing, but you know. I have a captive audience, so ha ha ha. Sean, you're getting lots of love there, my friend. Not sure if you're seeing the chat, but everyone is saying hi. We're hoping you'll be back maybe next week. This one I'm going over with a light black first, and then I'm going to come in with a gray. Hello, my sister Brenda. Welcome. And Sean says, oh, I'm sorry that project is taking up so much of your time, but it's almost over, right? Thank you, Brenda. I'm glad you like that. I'm glad Linux likes it, Jay. I don't know if anybody's ever said they like my singing, so I'll take it. Oh, sorry to hear that, Brenda. Sorry to hear that. Let's go in and continue on with getting the other roofs done. And I'm going to use a combination of grays so that it's not all just black or brown. We'll do some darker gray here and there. But you know what, Brenda? Focus on the fact that the day is done and, you know, another chance at it tomorrow, and hopefully that will be a better day. That's all we can do. Yes, yes, my sister was forced to hear me singing. It is a form of torture that I can deploy and use when I need it. So why not? Oh, let's see. Let's see. Do I have the roofs done? Oh, no, I missed one. Let's be fun and do that roof in a dark purple. And then I'll color the house a lighter purple. How's that? So this is the most time consuming part of this particular design. But it's not too bad. It goes pretty quickly. And let's do the lighthouse roof blue. And luckily they're small images, so they really do go pretty quickly. That one looks like a heart, so I want to color that one in red. Oh, and I missed a heart. There's another heart. Jeez. I'll tell you, now you're really seeing how when I'm coloring like this, I'm kind of like the dog in the park who's like, "Ooh, squirrel." I see something and I just automatically jump to it. Ooh, let's see. Let's do this house, kind of a lighter blue. And since these images are so small, I'm not too worried about if I was coloring a larger image and wanting to make sure there was shading and stuff, simply to try to save time. But also because they are so small that, it can be really tough to try to make sure that you're getting all of that shading in the right place. And so I say color however you like to color. So Sean, are you close to being done with the project? Let's do a dusty rose. That's kind of a cool color. Although this looks more brownish than, it's definitely heavy on the dusty. Let's see. Oh, this green is pretty. A jade green. Let's do this one, a nice jade green. We're going to do a couple of this color because I like that. We'll do that one, and let's see. Let's do this one down here. Well, hello, Christy. Thanks for joining, my friend. No worries about being late. I totally get it. We all have lives outside of here. But you did make it to say hi, so hi, friend. Sean, almost I am pushed out a bit. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, you just let me know when you're thinking you'll be around, and I've got you covered when you're not. So, let's do the small one, that color. Let's see. That one, I want a nice light yellow. And what is this? This is lime green. Ooh, let's do a lime green. That's a nice shade too. We'll do a couple of lime greens. That's the violet one I'm going to do. So let's do this one. There we go. Since that one has hearts on it, let's do that in a darker pink. And let's see, here is that purple. Let's get some purple in here too. Nice violet purple. Do that one like that, and let's do this one like that. There we go. And, maybe we'll do a traditional wooden. We'll color this sand. Oh, I got outside the line a bit there. Oh well. That's what white gel pens and acrylic markers are for. Cover up those spots. Oh, let's see. Let's do this one in the center, a nice bright orange, so that it draws attention towards that center. And this one up here, let's do that one a nice bright green. Almost there, my friends, almost there. You know what? Let's do red. And let's get, this is Bordeaux red. So a nice darker red along that border. And I love this Bordeaux red. Ooh. We're going to do one up here with the Bordeaux. A very yummy red. And we'll do the top. Let's see. I think we'll do that with this red. Oh, thanks so much. I I think everyone can actually do it. I really do. Um, it just takes a little bit of courage, really, to kind of do it the first time. And then let's do this one, a raw sienna, nice orange. And you know what makes this so easy is that there are so many great folks that join in and keep me company. And normally Sean is here too. Um, that it kind of takes the pressure away. It's really a lot of fun. But I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Now we're just going to color in some of those posts. And the base on that one that I hadn't done, we can make that brown, why not? And then last but not least, we're going to go in and we're going to color those centers. Now, I don't want to make them all black, so we can do some black. We can do some with a yellow because maybe somebody's home, but they have their lights on. And we can do various shades of gray to kind of break it up. Sandy's crafting along. Oh, that's okay. I totally get it. The important thing is you're here, which is always nice. And we have some that are probably napping, so it's all dark inside. And light sand. We can do some. That you're just seeing maybe the back. And we can do some that are black. A nice light black so it's not too overpowering. And we are just, I think, about done with coloring. Yay! Yeah, I think I got it all. Good. Yeah, I'm excited. It's always fun for me to have friends that I communicate with and support and comment on social media when they join. It's just so much fun because it's nice to get to see people, even virtually, like outside of social media. So I'm happy you made it. I think that's the only spot I had to worry. Oh, no, those are okay. All right. Good. So now I'm just going to cut this out. And what's nice is, like I said, I used the stamp to trace the shape of the stamp, which would be approximately the shape of if there was a die, which there isn't, but would also be the shape of the digital cut file if I had it. I don't mind fussy cutting. I actually quite enjoy it. So this isn't a huge deal for me. I have fussy cut tougher images than this, that's for sure. And what's kind of cool about this is, and I'm not going to do it tonight because it would take a little bit of time, but where this is a tree, You could color in this white space with like a lighter green to make it really look like a tree with all of these birdhouses up in the tree. But maybe another time. Since we're getting close to the hour anyway. There we go. And what I like to do to just add a little touch is whenever I fussy cut like this, I'm just going to take a black marker and come around the side, because when one of my dogs is dreaming and just let out a little bark. But this just will help separate it and give it added definition. Oh, yeah. I showed that at the beginning. So once I had the image stamped out, I just put the stamp right over it and used a pencil and traced around so that it would be nice and easy to cut. And of course, you don't have to do this in black. You could always do it in a different color. But again, just to add some definition there. Thanks, Brenda. You hate fussy cutting but love to glue. Okay. Yeah. No, I totally get that. I think it's kind of funny that, we truly can say that we cut up paper to glue it back together because that's what we're doing. So now, yes, some of these are going to get covered up. I know. I mean, I could still do it this way, but some will still get covered up anyway. I don't know. What do you think? Portrait or landscape? I like it landscape. So I think I'll do it landscape. But portrait, it does fit. And yeah, you know what? Let's do it portrait. Now I'm going to grab my glue. I could pop it up on foam tape, but since I already have this panel, I don't want it to be too thick. So I'll use glue. So I guess a lesson learned from cutting out those rectangles is I don't regret cutting them all, but definitely plan on where the image is going to be so then you don't have to cut as many maybe. I'll keep that in mind for the future. Get that glue on. And I want to approximately center that so that we still see those cool die cut windows. Get that set down. And get some glue on the back of the sentiment strip. And I'm going to put that so that we have a border going around it. And then there's only two sides I have to cut, which is nice. And thanks for the reminder there, Jem. I appreciate that. Thumbs up are always appreciated. There we go. And then for the placement, I think I am going to cover up some of what I colored, but that's okay. I think I will put it right there, kind of in the center bottom. Or do I want to do it up here? Where do I think the cuter images are? I kind of like those up there. So let's put it there. And last but certainly not least, I am going to just grab some of these crystals and just put a few on there to add a little more pizzazz. Let's see, we'll do one there. We'll do one there by the sun, and we'll do one over here by that little guy. And then I can get the pin back in my glue. And get these put on there. So the cool thing about this is you can make it as traditional or as funky as you'd like. The coloring you could have, you can use more muted colors, but I kind of like the brighter colors, and that one doesn't want, there we go. Got them to flip over. There we go. Our finished card for tonight. Welcome to Birdtown. Just kind of a fun background. I really like that with the windows cut out and then the tree just right there over it. I think coloring in the tree could be really fun too. But, doesn't have to be. So there we go. And just about an hour, so not too bad. I'm going to flip up to my main camera here. And thanks, Isis. Yeah, I thought it was a fun design to try tonight. So, to do something different too. Like initially I had thought, maybe I'll use the smaller birdhouses and like stamp them in a circular pattern. But I kind of like this. So thanks so much, Kara. I appreciate your support and your kind words always. Thank you, Brenda. It does. It is very spring. Yeah. Thank you, Isis. And yes, I hope everyone has a fabulous rest of your night. And I hope you have a great Friday and you have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you back here next week for another hour of the Min of Monroe. Until then, be well. Bye, friends. Thanks, Sean. Fingers crossed. We miss you too, bud.